Hey, GTR Dad. Can you hear me? If you can, I'm just working on a Fallout themed or a Fallout terminal. So basically, I don't know if you've played the game or not, but this is like the wall terminal. Let me see. Actually, here, let me see if I can share the screen here. Well, we'll go back to that real quick here, but see if I can find a picture of it here to share. So that. So we're oh, cool. So you do know. Yeah. So not doing it exactly the same. So this is to go with my Fallout themed XMax Cheedy XMax 3 printer. And so it'll be the terminal computer that controls that printer. So it's gonna have uh, it's gonna have a Pi 400. So let me get back to there we go. So it's going to have a Pi 400 that actually controls it. Um, and then this here in here will be a 10-inch. So this here, which is a 10-inch touchscreen. So technically you'll be able to control it all from the screen, but it will have the full keyboard. And it's going to connect to the printer. So obviously it's Clipper, so you can control Clipper from the terminal. Hey, data mine. So basically, like when I have it out, like I brought it to 3D Printopia last year, so this time I'd bring it and then I could be able to control it from the terminal versus just a boring laptop. So just kind of a little fun project to do. So what I'm working on now is I've printed the main body here, and I've printed these brackets. But when I originally printed the brackets, I didn't care for. Um, I was originally going for this here is going to be a pin that kind of goes through the keyboard tray here and through the brackets. So it'll be a carbon fiber, a 12 millimeter carbon fiber rod. So originally I was going to kind of drill and with a screw into the bracket and then through the keyboard tray to kind of keep it where I wanted because I don't want it to be necessarily adjustable. I just want it to be static. But the problem with that is that I was worried that um, over time with pressure on it, it was going to cause the plastic to oblong and get wobbly. So even with heat and heat press inserts and stuff like that, I wasn't quite sold that it would hold it. So what I'm doing now is just kind of editing these brackets because what I want is I want the brackets themselves. I want the brackets themselves to have the hard stop for the tray, uh, so the tray won't be able to go down. Technically, it would still be able to lift up a little bit. I had thought originally about um, embedding the Pi 400 directly into the keyboard tray so that that way you could fold the tray up. So I thought it would be kind of neat to be able to like fold this tray up into it when you weren't using it. But in order to do that, the width of the keyboard is an issue. Hey, Polymorph, how are you tonight? So I was concerned. I would have to basically bring this out a lot further, um, and then I am taking some bit of liberty as far as let me actually let me put a an image overlay here. That way everybody can see kind of what so that there. So I am taking some liberties as far as uh, how the tray is. I'm not doing the brackets that you see there as much. So I'm just having kind of the the tray and the bracket integrated. So the issue, like I said, I just wanted it to be static. I would have to change a lot of it in order to, like I said, I'd have to bring this out a lot more. I'd probably have to edit this a little bit to be narrower so that it fit inside this bezel on the front of it. Um, and I didn't really want to do that. So static keyboard tray it is. So how is everybody? This is actually the first time I have ever streamed myself working in Fusion. So I'm I'm a big Fusion user, but it's always been something that I just did myself. But I've had a lot of people that I've talked to. Yeah, I saw you. I saw you earlier, and I appreciate you coming. It's a lot of fun, kind of hanging out and chatting. We do the Unspooled podcast on Twitch every Tuesday night, me and Steve, layer by layer. And that's been a lot of fun. We've done 2 weeks of that. And next week is our third episode. So just to kind of have a few extra streams under my belt. And as you know, a side thing to that, I thought that it would be nice to stream some CAD. So um, I've been using Fusion 360 for a number of years. I'm by no means an expert, but I learn new ways of doing things, and I watch videos a lot and learn different ways that people do stuff. So, but it's a lot of fun. I been into 3D printing for a long time, and been into CAD for probably the last 6 years, 7 years. Um, Mainly Fusion 360. I do use SliceWorks, Onshape, even Tinkercad. Still like Tinkercad. The Lars tutorial. I'm not familiar with that one. I do watch. There's a few that I do watch, and I can't even think of their names off the top of my head. But they were the ones that yeah, Tinkercad. Like I still, even a fairly heavy Fusion user. I still go back to Tinkercad for a lot of stuff. Just really quick, easy designs. It's great, and they're making it better all the time. And if they would put in the ability to just do quick fillets and chamfers, that would be huge. And I would probably use it even more. So one of the videos that one of the people I do watch on Fusion um, is, I'm trying to look up his name right now, or his channel. Uh, so I think it's Product Designs Online. He's had some pretty good tutorials. Um, and then I think the one Lars, that is okay. Lars Christensen. I have watched his. So I think that's the guy you're talking about. Um, yeah, he posts all kinds of like intermediate beginner stuff. So he's a great guy if you're just learning. Yeah, he's really good. Yeah, Lars Christensen. Yeah, if you haven't gotten into Fusion, he's a great one to watch. But so basically, this is what I did on this side. Um, I'm not going to go. So how it works, I won't go and probably actually model it on this side tonight, just because I will just mirror this bracket. Um, but what I did was basically just project this layout here onto the bracket, so then I could get the exact dimensions and then kind of just extrude that out chamfer just to make it kind of look okay. But I think that'll work. I think that'll give it enough, and I'll have to check. I might have to bring this out a little bit more, but I think that's going to give it enough strength to hold that. And what I'll probably end up doing is, even on the design, there's only 2 brackets, but I may actually end up um, putting either a third bracket or combining these two into like one solid unit. Um, that way I could have something coming along here, again holding this rod, and then coming down to the base to support this keyboard stand. Might be a good way of doing it. So I'll have to test it. I'll have to print these here and the keyboard tray, to see how strong it is. But our Paul, I don't watch a lot on Arduino. I kind of fumbled my way through Arduino. I do like it, the Arduinos and the Pi. I do use Raspberry Pis a lot. I really like the Picos, the Pi Picos. I use the Pi Picos a lot in a lot of different projects. In this here, oh, this is going to have, I don't know who was here at the beginning. So this is going to have a Pi 400 that controls it. So basically this here, all my Pi 400, I'll design kind of a shroud over the top of this here, that kind of hides the back part of this. But basically it'll slide on to the Pi 400, and then there will be like an industrial looking conduit, that comes out and goes in through here to feed to the, how I power it up, and to the screen, to the monitor. So I want it to look kind of real real industrial, because obviously the the actual terminal, it looks grimy and Fallout 4 esque. So I did do so this side here. I found some reference images of the other side. This side here has like a grate in it, so I'm going to use some like aluminum mesh here, and then paint it black and kind of grime it all up. But behind this, I'm going to put a fan, just to keep whatever power source I put in here to plug in and power, just to keep that cool. Yeah, Pezlis has been great. She's been, for Steve and I on the Unspooled podcast, she's been a good sounding board, and announcing that to everybody. And we're still new into that, but it's coming along. Third episode is this Tuesday, and we have a really awesome guest. I don't think you guys will want to miss it. The guest we have on, you're gonna know who he is, and he's done some amazing stuff. Has one of the coolest printers out there, and I think he's got some other stuff that he's working on. So he's gonna be really fun to have on stream. But yeah, so what I was thinking is, I want to have just in the back here kind of a single plug. Um, so basically you plug a cable in, and it powers up like a power supply of some sort that powers the Pi, because the Pi doesn't need, I mean, it's 5 volt. So and then the screen here, that is also 5 volt. So the only thing I need in here is just a very small you know way to power 5 volt the screen and the Pi. So but I would like to have, I was thinking about putting kind of a like what we have on printers, right? Like just a normal PC style plug. I don't even know the term for them, and then a switch. But I'd like it to be more than just like a black or like a lit up red switch. I'd like it to be Fallout looking. So I'll probably like design my own so that it's like a really like dirty industrial looking mechanical clunk switch. I just don't know if I want to put that on the back or if I want to put it on the front here. So the screen, how the screen works is, let me hide the main body here. Um, so the screen sets, see if you can see this. So this is the 10-inch screen. I think it's 10.1 inches. So it mounts kind of into this bracket, that bracket that you see. Um, and then that mounts to the bezel. Get that out of the way here. So that mounts to the bezel. So the screen mounts to this bracket, and then the bracket mounts to the bezel. And I did it that way just because I wanted it to be easily serviceable, removable if something breaks. So yeah, it's pretty. It's a good size screen, and the cool thing about it is that um, I'll post it on X too. There's a guy who has designed. He's got a GitHub repository where he has designed a Linux program that turns the Linux terminal. So in Raspbian, this will just run or Raspberry Pi OS. Um, it turns the terminal that you're showing on the screen or into make it look like a green CRT. So it kind of like bubbles the screen so that it'll actually um, look like the terminal. So it'll be like bubbly and CRT looking, like old school looking. Um, yeah, so like low refresh rate, like you can even change that so that it'll like cycle that line through that you'll see on like old CRTs. It's pretty cool. So that's gonna be a lot of fun once I get it all together. Um, yeah, some like really old programs that still function. Yeah, so I work in IT. That's like my day job. So um, I'm a network engineer, and we run into all kinds of programs. I remember one time we were working on we were working at this company that is um, a wood plant. They mill wood, massive trees and lumber yard type thing. But they had this huge saw that sawed lumber all day long, automated saw. But it was old, and it ran on an old like Windows 95 machine that ran this old software that some guy developed back in the 80s. And the guy had worked there, so I think they said that it originally was written for like Windows 3.1, and as he worked there, he had been updating it and getting it running. Well, unfortunately, the guy had passed away, and the last version of Windows that he got it running on was 95. So they basically nobody could get it fixed. Everybody that they brought in that was like, oh, we'll just write a new program because it would be less than redoing that one to run on 7 or 10, or I think we were in Windows 10 at that time. Um, and they were like, no, this thing works, and we can't have the machine down at all. So you guys need to figure out how to get this to run on 10, and we did, but the amount of hours we put into it probably would have been easier just to rewrite a new program, but they didn't want to. So we did keep it up. We kept the machine running the whole time. But yeah, so that's going to mount here. Luckily, this screen only needs 5 volt, um, and then obviously HDMI. So it's just going to have a real short HDMI cable from the Pi down up into the for the screen. Um, no, not I haven't done and I haven't done anything with AI other than um, I do have, I can't remember who makes it. I do have this keyboard that uses a CM4 or the Pi CM4 module that has the guy has developed AI in it, so it does like text to speech or um, speech to text all right inside the keyboard. It's like a self-contained AI. That's really the only thing that I've done with it. I mean, obviously, I'm a avid ChatGPT user, but no, I haven't gotten into into it much beyond that. I'd love to, but yeah, yeah. So it's actually, I don't know if you guys follow. It's Jeff Greeling, I think how you pronounce his last name. Um, Gerling, Gerling. Yeah, Jeff Gerling. So he's got like a really big YouTube channel, but he recently did a video um, of this like private AI keyboard. Um, and so I've got all the parts coming for that, which would be kind of neat to do. But I liked the video on it. Who knows? Probably never use it, but it's still kind of neat. Um, so this here, what we're gonna do is, so this side is I still get let me get this screen off. So this here is that off to the side there. So what I'm gonna do here is I was gonna model like the knobs right in it, because it's like two knobs that here, and then I think there's a couple buttons. I was gonna model those right in, but I actually have an old device that is like an old uh, like audio thing that I found at work. This old analog like audio switcher thing, and it's got these red knobs on it that are exactly what they look like in the image. So I'm going to use those red knobs for this here. I had originally thought this screen here does have the ability to dim it. So there is there is like a terminal on the back where you can dim the screen. So I actually thought about wiring up one of these knobs so that I could dim the screen by turning the knob, and that may be a future thing. So I am gonna design this here is right now. I had originally was just gonna print it out and use like 3D gloop and just glue it on. But I actually may design some heat press inserts into this part, match the holes so that I can screw it in. That way, if in the future I do want to turn this into like an actual those knobs to be functional in something, I can just unscrew it, take it off, and I don't have to reprint um, this whole main body, because this here it is big. So like I said, this is a 10-inch screen. So this whole thing, it's pretty good size. It's like an actual CRT monitor. Um, so this body printing in one piece fits exactly on the size of my GDX Max 3, but it is a fairly long print. So I've printed it, and I only want to print it once. So I have it now. I'm printing all the parts on this in PETG. Probably so far it's just been all black PETG. Um, and then obviously I'll finish it to look kind of the silvery, dirty metal that is from the game. So, but yeah, so that's where we're at. But what I'm going to do now is this main body. I'm going to, like I said, I want to make sure on this here, I want to do, and the heat press inserts I have are, I have all sizes, but I'm going to just use 4 M3s. So I think my M3s that I have, they're set for like a 4.2 millimeter hole. So usually if I go 4.25, they fit well. So um, um, and sorry, my mic is kind of blocking, and I could mirror these all out, but I'm not going to, because why make it easy on myself? So I'm just gonna dimension these out. Let's make them just, oh, not 40. Let's just make them 20 and 20. So are any of you guys Fusion users? I know I know it was GTR Dad or maybe Polymorph that said they like Tinkercad, but anybody anybody using Fusion or Onshape or SolidWorks? Oh, sorry, got distracted there. I should have been a good CAD user and just mirrored these, but I'm gonna be lazy. Oh, I think I had an extra one there. So yeah, I'm just gonna do that. Um, these heat press inserts are, I think, 4 mil deep, but it doesn't really matter how deep I go with these. So I'm just gonna do like 6. And then what I will do is let's bring that main body back. And let's create a sketch here. Create a sketch. Well, actually, let's hide that main body. Let's select these here. And then we will project those onto the sketch. So that way, when I bring the main body back and hide that side detail part, I have those right there. So now we will just extrude that out a little. Oop, did I lose those? I did. So come out and then we'll just extrude those. Make a couple holes. Yeah, that would be neat. Because you could do like actually anything like that. Like even if you did, you could like make. I mean, even wood. Like somebody was saying like, oh, you could just like make this box out of wood and stuff. But I wanted the whole thing. I mean, obviously I'm a 3D printer, so I wanted the entire thing to be 3D printed. Obviously, other than the electronics, but I wanted to have everything to be printable. I'm probably going to. I've had a few people that want to build this, so they've asked me to release the files when they're when it's done. The only issue is that it is big, right? So it's set to have a 10-inch monitor, so it's good size. You have to have a machine that's a minimum of 330 by 330 because it goes right to the end. I think it's like 315, I think. So it's pretty close. Um, so what I'm gonna probably do is I'll upload when I do release this. I will upload like the whole file, the whole box, the main body, and then also the bezel. But I will also probably split it into 4 sections. Um, so what I can do is this isn't super thick, so the whole shell thickness is 4 millimeters. So it is thick enough to where I can, if I split it into fours, I can put some dowels in, just some 2 millimeter printed dowels just to like line everything up to make it easy for people. But then they could print this and the bezel um, in 4 pieces or 2 pieces. Yeah, like if you could do, there is actually someone did model this, but they modeled it with a non-functioning keyboard and just the touchscreen. So their keyboard was basically modeled to look like this, and it's just a print. It's not a functioning keyboard, and then they're just using the touch screen to like control everything. So it's more of like a prop than it is like functional. So I wanted mine to be functional. So I wanted it to actually be used as a Linux computer. I want to be able to go to like the Clipper UI and control my Fallout printer. Um, so my GDX Max 3 is a Fallout. So, but either way is pretty awesome though. Like the guy who designed it's smaller obviously because um, he just modeled it. I think it's like a 6-inch screen instead of a 10-inch. And I thought about that originally, but then I wanted to use the Pi keyboard, and the Pi keyboard is obviously that width. So the Pi keyboard, as you can see, is basically the width of it. So the Pi keyboard actually kind of determined the width of it, and then making it square as it is kind of determined the whole dimensions of it. So the size of it can be blamed on me using the Pi 400, but I couldn't really think of any. I could have done like a Raspberry Pi internally in the case, like a Pi 5 or a Pi 4, and then used like a smaller um, keyboard because they have like the really small keyboards you could buy on Amazon. They're like they have like the integrated little touchpad in them, and you can get them really small. They're only like you can get them like 4 inches wide. So I could have done that. But the thing with the Pi 400 is obviously I want to, the Bluetooth ones. I think they're like the RRI3s or something like that. They're like the most popular little black. They're like some no-name brand, but RII3 or something. But I wanted to do, I decided on the Pi 400 because the Pi 400, the shell comes apart easy. And the keys, the actual keyboard is all just membrane based, and the keys. So I am going to be taking the whole Pi 400 apart, and it'll be painted, right? So the whole keyboard will match that look here. So everything, it won't be just red and black or red and white. It'll actually look like this. And from what I could tell, there wasn't really any other keyboard available using an internal Pi 400 in the body of this that would have been easy for me to take apart to finish, to paint. So that's kind of why I settled on the Pi 400. Plus, I already had the Pi 400. This is a gift from my wife and son actually for Christmas a few years back. So they'll be happy that I'm using it. But so yeah, twofold, easy to take apart, easy to paint to match the theme of it, and then easy to type on, and I already had it. So, but yeah, that kind of dictated the size. So, but yeah, so now we have got the screw holes here, right? So that side piece can be easily mounted, easily taken off. The other thing, so on this side here, let me get rid of that part. So this side here is going to have just that mesh that I mentioned earlier. So it's just like a wired mesh. And I found one that is just like, so I was going to print one, but I found you can get it right at Lowe's. It's like this aluminum wired mesh. You can get it with just the holes or like a real tight mesh. And from the reference images I found of this side of the terminal, it's like a real tight mesh, so you can't like see through it. So I'm just going to cut a square and then just epoxy it onto here. Probably use some E6000 if you guys are into this type of stuff, anything, then this E6000 is like the best, most versatile. Yeah, so it's not like the like a thin mesh, like what you would find on a window screen. It's actually fairly thick, just because I didn't want it to be like that you could like poke your finger through it. So it's probably like, it's probably like 2 mil thick, the mesh. So it's pretty rugged stuff. Like I'll have to cut it when I cut it to fit this. I'll have to cut it, with tin snips, because it is pretty thick. But then, like I said, I'll just E6000 on it, and then it'll just be painted along with the bait with the main body part here. So, but my hope is that this part here holds the tray. I'm actually probably, you know what? I'm gonna put. Oop, I was thinking about putting something on this side too. Um, but the issue with that is I still want these brackets to be easily printable, right? So anytime as a 3D printer and as a CAD designer, anytime you're designing something, you always want to keep printability in mind, just for your own sanity, and then anybody who else is going to make this or make what you design, printability. So I had thought about maybe putting something. Well, we talked here about putting something along here that kind of encompassed this rod, that kind of supported this a little bit more, just in case these pieces on both sides aren't enough. But I don't want to add anything in on these sides, because for printability, I print it on this face, so that these are easy to print. This layout, nothing needs supports. I try to design everything I possibly can, without supports. And that actually reminds me. So this keyboard tray, there is kind of an inset, on both sides. So this kind of sits in a little bit. So right now, in order to print this, I'd have to print it with one of these faces down, and then I'd have to have some infill in here, which I don't want to have. So what I want to do is I actually want to split this. So I want it to print in two pieces, and then I can put some dowels in here to like line it up, so that I can. You probably use 3D glue or even E6000 or super glue, any CA glue, to kind of glue it together. That would make it easier to print, and it'll be able to print on a smaller machine. Like if you have a machine, like right now, I think this height, if you printed this height, it's too. I don't know if it would fit on. Well, let's see. I don't think it would fit on if someone had like an A1 Mini. Yes, we're 285. So 285 millimeters. So even if I were to print it down, like I could print this on like a Bamboo machine, and then that surface would come out fine. But I want this to be printable on as many machines as possible, so that if someone wants to replicate this, they can print it. So I think if I split this, it's going to be the best. Then it could be this side can just be smooth and flat and printed down, and then you're not going to need any supports at all. So I think that's what I'm going to do. All right. So let's split that. So we're going to come up here. We're going to split body, and we're going to split it that way. Select body, tray. And we're going to split it. So we've now split that. So now I've got, let's rename these, keyboard tray left, and keyboard tray right. And I do like to, they're just bodies right now. Eventually I'll convert all these into components. But I like to keep them kind of together as best I can. So, all right, so now we have that split. So let's take the right side and let's get rid of that. Okay, so let's create a sketch here. So what I'm going to do, all right, let's change the view. I want to go back to orthographic. So orthographic, if you're a Fusion user, and I think the terminology is a little different in SolidWorks, but basically perspective and orthographic, it's the same in any CAD. So perspective kind of doesn't, if you're looking at a model as a whole, it doesn't skew it left to right or front to back. So if you're looking at a whole model, like earlier when I was looking at like the width of the keyboard, it'll skew it kind of front to back, so it'll look like it's narrower in the back and wider in the front in orthographic, but perspective kind of evens that out, so it doesn't look. But if you're doing a sketch and you want to see just like the perimeter of the part that you're doing the sketch on, switching to orthographic makes that look better. So if I switch to perspective, so now you can see these faces outside of the sketch. And when I'm doing a sketch, sometimes I want to see that, but most of the time I don't. So I'll switch it back to orthographic. That way I'm just looking flat at the sketch, almost like I'm looking at a piece of paper. So what we're going to do is so I have a point here because this part here was modeled from a circle, right? So I created a circle, came down with my arcs to kind of get the design of how I wanted it to look. So the benefit of that is now I can come in just from that point. And I'm going to do 12.5. So the carbon fiber rod that I have, and you could use wooden rod, you could use anything, but the carbon fiber rod that I'm going to use to hold the keyboard tray to the brackets is a 12 millimeter carbon fiber solid rod. It's just what I have. Used it for some airplane wings for like a 3D printed airplane that I did a while back. So it's 12 millimeter, but it actually measures oddly at like 12.43 millimeters. So I did a test print, and if I design it at 12.5 and I print it, I don't have to do any like sizing up or down. But if I do 12.5, that rod fits really good. At least if I print it on one of my P1Ss, my Bamboo Lab P1Ss, that rod is like a really nice friction fit, just slides right in. So I'm going to set it to 12.5. What I'm going to do here, just so I want to have everything centered, I'm going to just put in a line, turn it into a construction line, just so I'm going to put probably just 2 more. So, and it's probably overkill, probably 2. If I put this one here, all right, so if I just did this one and this one, I'd probably be fine. But just because I can, I'm gonna put another dowel here, just for lining it all up. So that way, I take I'll probably take 40 mil or so of a dowel piece to line this up, kind of so that you have that strength shear wise, so that you're not just relying on adhesive here, which CA glue, or I mean especially 3D glue is more of a chemical bond than it is an adhesive, so it actually adheres these two. So if I use glue, I wouldn't need these rods, but I want them just in case. So I'm going to extrude. I'm going to extrude these in, let's say, I'm going to do 30 mil, just to make sure. I'll probably only do a 40 mil piece, but I'm just gonna do it 30 just to have a little bit of space. That way, if I cut the pieces a little longer, that's okay. I don't really have to worry about it. So we're gonna do that. Let's see. Hey, Bryce's 3D prints. Great to see you, man. what a good guy. He's a great guy. Talk with him a lot on X. Uh, really good guy. So I think he's here. At least I think I just saw his name in the participants. So if you are here, welcome. If you're lurking, that's okay too. So okay, I've got those in. I'm going to bring back. I'm going to bring back the right. I'm going to create a sketch here. All right. Again, I'm going to switch back to orthographic because it's just what I prefer. But temporarily, I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to bring this side back. I'm going to grab these. In order to be exact, I like to project. I want to project these circles onto the sketch that I have open on the other part. And to do that, the easiest way is you select these, click P for project. And now if I hide that, well, even if I keep these off, like you can see that these are now projected onto that sketch that I'm doing. So now I see them here. So now that's going to be perfectly lined up. When I print these, I won't have to worry about misalignment or there being like odd lips here as the two parts come together. So project, learning how to project dimensions onto a new sketch is like probably the best thing that I ever learned in Fusion. Before I knew you could actually do that long ago, I would like manually try to like line everything up. I'd like turn apart low on the opacity like 20%, and then I would like manually try to place the circles to like or squares or try whatever I was creating to try to manually line it up. And if you do that, you'll almost never get it right. I mean, you might get lucky, but it's gonna cause you a lot of trouble. So I'm gonna extrude this negative so that I can cut, and I'm gonna go 30 millimeters as well, just to keep that uniform on both sides. So now if we bring this back and say, let's talk about opacity. Actually, let's just do this one. Let's go down to like 30%. So now you can see those lines and they're lined up perfectly. So when I print this now, I don't have to worry about printing. I don't have to worry about printing it on one of these sides as a whole tray, right? You still can, but I don't have to worry about it printing vertically, 285 millimeters tall, and only having these surfaces actually touching the build plate, right? So I would have to have a pretty good brim because it's not small, right? There's going to be some weight to it when it starts printing. So if I had just this surface actually touching the build plate, I'd have to have a pretty hefty brim all the way around this because in here is just going to be supports. So that's a lot of vertical weight as that printer's whipping around, and it's just kind of a fail. It's a failed print waiting to happen. So now I can print on this flat surface on both, right? And then I only have to put like a small little tree support up because right, this diameter, this is only 12 millimeters apart. This will probably 12 millimeters. It'll print no problem bridging, right? So I probably don't even need supports. If I don't want any sagging in here, and I want it to be really, I could just have a small little tree support going up in there, easily knocked out of each hole, and I don't have to worry about it. And then this indentation here is just going to be a real nice clean print. So we're good there. That's what I wanted to do with that. So the keyboard tray is looking pretty good. Like I said, I modeled this as like a hard stop for the keyboard tray so that I didn't have to put like a set screw in here and in here on this rod. and then rely on that set screw. I still may put a set screw, but I wanted to have that hard stop. But I won't model that on this side because I am just going to eventually mirror this part, which will bring that right over. So, and again, eventually all these bodies will be turned into components. So, all right, bring the bezel back. Let's bring, oh, that's a good idea. Polymorph. That's a great idea. I know exactly what you're talking about. Okay, so are you thinking like bringing this out, doing a tail that sits up against the bottom of the main body? So here, let's get rid of these. So we could have, again, let's switch back to orthographic. So we could have a tail on this keyboard tray that kind of sets up against the bottom of the bezel. Because this bezel screws to the base with these. So it has these 4 screws. So the bezel should be screws right through here. And these will have heat press inserts in them. So you can easily take the bezel on and off. I don't like relying on screwing into the plastic. But yeah, if we did it that way, then this tail would come up. That way, when this rod goes through the brackets, even if there was to take the pressure off this little hard stop, that tail couldn't go down. That tail would prevent it from going down any further. That's a good idea. Thanks, Polymorph. Now, let's see. Get rid of this real quick. What would be our best way of doing that? Because I split this. I have to split the tail. I do that. Let's see. You know what? I could get rid of that. Because technically I only need the tail on one side. And I don't want to affect printability. So if I model the tail off of this face, I could come, see this point sticks up higher. So I'd have to come, it doesn't need to be, I don't want it to be so tight up against this that it causes a fitment problem. So if I game back all the way to the bezel, and again, I'm just kind of, so that's it. I could come in there. Yeah, I could, because then I could do, so I could do, actually, you know what? Let me project that onto the sketch. So that way, so I think what you're, so I think what you're saying is follow that bracket dimension. And then what I could do is, I probably want to have it come all the way back to towards the end of the bezel. Something like that. So I want to have it as far back as possible, right, to be as strong as I can make it. So if I come back and then let's just rough sketch it out. Okay. So if I come back to this point and I keep those parallel, right? So we'll keep that constraint, we'll keep these lines parallel. So it comes down, I can fillet these edges once I'm done to clean it all up. Okay. I think we got an idea. I think we've got an idea because yeah, I can cut this out so that okay. So we're there. Let's do, if I do 20, because I don't care about, I'm not worried about like filament, right? So let's go 20 mil. Oh, I gotta go back to that. Oh man, I got way too many sketches in this. But anyways, so let's project that onto, oh my mic here covers my keyboard and it's driving me nuts. Okay, so let's project that on. Let's finish that sketch. Let's bring that back. Let's, oh yeah, so let's grab that and just gonna cut that out, right? So that way it sets on top of that dowel, because the dowel is just gonna slide right through. So, all right, just for giggles, I want to bring these back and take a look. Okay, so and just for uniformity, I will probably do the same on this side, because I mean, 40 to have 40 mil thick, that's going to be plenty strong. But that will work really well. That was a really good idea. See, I knew doing this would be great because I have people in the stream that are way smarter than me and would come up with some really cool idea. All right. Yeah, that's really good. I like that. Okay, so I'm just going to, I'm going to hide this one real quick. Sorry, wrong one. That one. Nope, I had it right the first time. We're going to hide that one. And I'm going to I'm going to edit that sketch. Okay. You don't have to. So now I'm going to extrude that out. And what do we do? 20 mil. Okay, bring this back. I'm going to hide the sketches real quick. Okay, so now let's hide that bracket. Left bracket. Oh, I missed one. I missed a part of the sketch. The important part, actually. Yeah, so it's funny. It's you hit the nail right on the head. All right, like I always viewed this streaming and this live streaming as like an easy thing, right? Like you do a live stream, you just talk on video. How hard can that be? But when you're in, like when we're in the Unspooled podcast, I've noticed that we had a guest this last on the last episode, and I found you're talking and you're just having a conversation with my co-host, which is Steve Layer by Layer, um, and then our guest, who this last time was Just G3D. If you guys are into props and cosplay and 3D printing and making props and painting, he's awesome. So we're just talking, but and then you're trying. We also want to make sure that we stay engaged with the audience, right? Because we're doing this to engage with you guys. So it's easy to get sidetracked, you know, uh, and then kind of forget one thing or the other, and then managing time, right? Making sure that you're not keeping the guest on longer. So yeah, there's a lot going on a live stream, and this is just something simple, right? But yeah, it would be easy. As a designer, I'll this is the first time I've ever streamed CAD, me designing in CAD. So, usually when I design in CAD, I get tunnel vision, right? And I'm designing, and then hours can go by. Um, so it's a challenge trying to interact, but I'm glad I'm doing it because you had an amazing idea, and now I might not have even thought of that. Or if I thought of something like it, it might have taken me days and days and days of thinking of it or reiterating certain stuff. So I appreciate the help. So okay, let's stop rambling. Let's bring that back. Let's get rid of these brackets. Right, left. Okay, so now to clean these up a little, I'm going to get rid of that rod. Okay, so what I do want to do is I do want to round these over a little bit, just because the way that rod was going up, I don't want it to be real tight coming through. I just kind of want this to kind of fall on, like, I mean, the rod's going to go through anyways, but I don't want any binding trying to go through here, and through here. So I'm going to round that over a little bit just so it's kind of like so I'm going to fillet that just so it just kind of sits on there nice. And then to kind of clean up the ends so we don't have any real sharp, how far should I go? Should I just go right to how's that look? If I just go right to the end, you're not going to really see it, so it doesn't really matter. But let's go with that, right? So now we're going to set right up close, almost to the end of that bezel. So now if this little tray here wasn't enough as far as the pressure on the keyboard, right? So you got to remember, my sausage fingers are going to be slamming down on this keyboard. If that wasn't enough, if this edge started to roll over, that's what I was concerned about. But now I've got this whole piece pushing up on the bottom of that bezel. That should hold it. And with my keyboard on, I mean, it looks good, right? Let's just let's go just to smooth that out a little bit. All right, that looks good. It's a nice transition, but that looks good, right? And eventually, like I said, we're going to have to hide all of the cable connections here. So we're going to have a power connector, right? So in this one here, we're going to have a USB-C. And then in this one here, we're going to have a mini HDMI, or is it micro HDMI? I can't remember. So we're going to have only 2 cables here, but I don't want, obviously, that like non-fallout looking cables to be shown. So I will create kind of a bezel thing to hide the back part of this, that will extend out to hide those so that it's and it kind of a retention, so that when I have that when I have that conduit coming out, it'll come down into this, but then it'll go down into something similar here on this end, so it'll be nice and clean. I think that'll look good. What do you guys think? Let's see here. Who do we have in? Oh, Bryce left us, man. Bryce, you should have chatted. That's all right. Okay. Yeah, that'll hide that. So And I actually may, now that I'm looking at it, I'm not sure I want to see the sides of this. So I may actually print um, to kind of bring this up a little bit because I kind of want it to be flat. I may actually design and do better price. That's great. I'll have to tell him that next time I talk to him on X. So I want this to be flat now that I'm looking at it. So I may design not part of the tray because I don't want too much to be the tray. I may design kind of a body for this to set in that encompasses this conduit retention and the cable cover here. That way the Pi 4 just sits down into it, and then it'll even that out. And I think that'll look good. It'll reduce this looking so much like a Pi 400 and looking more like just a beat up old raggedy keyboard. Yeah, and I had originally thought of that. I thought of inserting that into here, but the my I'd have to redesign the tray, I think, because you see how you have this part here on the image? If I insert this in, this would be my height minus, like, obviously the keys would stick out a little bit. So I'd have to bring that down a lot. Um, and I currently like the way that, hey, the Free Heathen, how you doing? Thanks for coming. The Free Heathen, if you guys don't know him, he is also a fellow Twitch streamer. He was streaming earlier, which I was actually in his stream. So, and he's got a lot of cool people in there. Yeah, so I like the way that the tray looks. So I think if I inset that keyboard all into the tray, I would have to edit this a little bit and bring this down because obviously it to be similar. Oh, I got the picture right in the way. So obviously to have it look, even if this was inset down here, I'd have to bring that down, which I guess I could. I'm not going to do that today. Well, I don't know. I'll think on that one. That's a good idea, though. That's a really good idea. Do I want to insert that or inset the keyboard? I think I'm going to keep it the way it is and do a body to set that in that goes down on top of this, only because it's more stuff to CAD, and I like to CAD. Make a separate case for the Pi and have a mating system like no. Yeah, so that was my idea, is make like a separate piece that the Pi sits down in that encompasses the cover here for the cables and the retention for the conduit that's going to go here. And then, yeah, I could do like a keyhole where that tray snaps down. The tray for the keyboard snaps onto this, and then you just, or yeah, the keyboard snaps in, and then that whole thing kind of snaps down onto the thing. Or I could make it easy on myself, and I could just have heat press inserts here, and then the tray just screws down in, and then you set the keyboard into it. I guess it depends on how complicated I want to make it. I mean, I do like making things complicated, but I think if we do, yeah, that's good ideas. All that's good ideas. I'm gonna keep that in the back of my head. All right. Where were we? Okay, we got the tray. Let me get the keyboard out of the way. So I think we got the tray mechanism figured out, right? So we've got a hard stop here. We've got a hard stop here. So the downward pressure on the keyboard on the tray should be good, right? Yeah. All right. So let's this bracket, left bracket here. Okay. Yeah. So this obviously is as a terminal, wall-mounted terminal. You have these brackets to screw it to the wall. Um, so when I'm here, when I'm home, I'll probably mount that to like I have like a long 8 foot like 3D printer rack that all my printers sit on. Um, I'll mount this to that next to the Fallout GDX Max. So, but when I go to like 3D Printopia and I bring my Fallout printer and I bring this, I'll probably create like a 2x4 frame table topper, like an L that comes down that has like a wall and underneath, and I'll probably theme that, like make it look like brick, make it look like concrete wall or some sort that this bolts to, just for aesthetics, make it look nice. Oh yeah, 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 like a tiny one to sit on top of my P1Ss. That would be hilarious. That's a good idea. You're full of awesome ideas. Okay. Yeah. That we're gonna do that at some point. We're gonna miniaturize this for a Panda Touch that sits on top of a P1S. It's a good idea. All right. All kinds of good ideas. So I think, let's see, what else? What else do we have to? Okay, so there is, this is hard. So on the side next to where the knobs are, there's like this, I can't ever get a good reference image of it. It looks like a button. I don't know if it's a power button. It doesn't appear to be on the other side unless it is. I can't find, I've only found like one good image of the other side that showed the mesh. Um, so I don't know. I don't know what that is. Do you guys think it looks like a button, or do you think it looks like a bolt? I'm trying to find other images too, and there aren't any good ones of like up close sides of it, that at least that I found. Um, let's look. Okay, let me pull that off. Let me. All right, I'm gonna remove that, and you get a lovely picture of my face. Okay, let's uh, let's do. Hold on a sec here. Okay. Uh, okay. So let's do this. Okay. Fallout terminal reference images. So yeah, this one's pretty cool. This is another one the guy did. He used a Pi 400. I remember seeing this one too. And I think this is one from an older version. Instead of Fallout 4, or it's I don't know if it's 3. But this one's pretty cool. Let's see. That one's cool too. I think that must be from like the original. Oh no, it says Fallout 4. Oh, that's the desktop one. Oh, look at that. Oh, oh, that one looks like. Oh yeah, that's that guy that did the other one. Yeah, with the 3D printed keyboard. That's right. Okay, but let's try to find. Oh, what's that? Yeah, so this is on the Magpie. So this is that. This is the one the other guy did. Um, what does that look like? It looks like a bolt. I don't. Again, I think he's probably just some liberties as far as, because I'm trying to find like a game reference image of it, like an in-game image that shows the side. Because like this here, like I don't know, that's just like basically like what I'm doing, right? Like, yeah, see, these look like they have two there. I wonder if they're like, so this one here makes it look like they're like bolts that hold something together. Yeah, I think whoever did this one, this is the 3D printed, like the all 3D printed one. It's small too, because look at the pie. That's cool though. I like that. I like that. Zelda. That's cool. I could play Doom on this. Everybody plays Doom on everything electronic, right? So at 3D Printopia, we could play Doom on this. Yeah, that's another one of his, that guy that designed the itty bitty one. Yeah, there's just not a lot of all the ones you see that are printed are obviously the one that that guy designed because it's the only other one that I've seen designed. Um, but like the actual in-game photos like this, it must be that I don't remember from the game. I'll have to like play it back because I don't remember. Um, like in Fallout 3, do you ever see a different side? And like the it looks different in 3 than, hey, Bexy Beans, how you doing? Thanks for coming. Oh, I know, sorry. I have I haven't yet fully like developed the rules, my Twitch streaming rules as far as like typing. Obviously you don't want to get like crazy amount of bots and stuff. So I think it's like set to like 20 minutes or something. You have to like subscribe and then 20 minutes later you can type. I don't know if that's the best way to do it or not. Pro streamer, I am not. So yeah, I think like it looks different obviously. Like the Fallout 4 version versus the Fallout 3 looks different. But I just can't find any good in-game photos that show what that little button is. So, okay, let me go back to, oop, wrong one. Let me go back to, okay, so let's go back to the model. So back to Fusion. So the issue is that I don't know on this side, oop, on this side here, there's some type of button, right? Like there's some type of thing here from the reference image. So I think I'm just going to model it as a like a button and put one on each side, or as like a bolt. Um, I can always change it later, but let's and so whoa, why did I do that? And well, actually, let's look at that picture one more time. About how high is it? So it's almost, it's like the center is slightly under that button. Okay. So it's kind of like the center is slightly under that button there. I'm probably going to go like right there. And it's not a perfect science. We'll do a 30 mil button, and then we'll do like let's do 20 inside, or not button. I don't know why I keep calling it a button. Oh, let's keep that there. More like a screw head. So when you guys are watching Twitch, like I like to watch all kinds of stuff. I mean, obviously I'm a 3D printing nut, So I always tend to gravitate towards like the 3D printing YouTube videos and Twitch videos and stuff. But do you guys like watching CAD design stuff? I do. That's why it kind of took me a little bit to want to do this, just because I'm fairly new to the whole thing. But so you think like some things in like the CAD design? Yeah, projecting does take a bit to get the hang of. So let me actually uh, let's actually do. Yeah, I just like chatting with people too, Bexy. Like it's I love like hanging out in the Discord chats and so this here is something I did earlier. So I had put a camera on the front of one of my P1Ss so that I could film through the glass and keep the door shut. So I have I found on printables, this guy designed a really cool bracket that um, went on, mounted to the hinge, the upper hinge on the door of the P1S. And then you could mount just through the 1/4 inch um, hole on the bottom of every webcam. You could mount it here, and it worked really well. So I've been looking to do a similar thing on my Infomec TX. So I threw this one together, and it fits perfect on my Infomec. So, but yeah, okay. So let's go to a basic. All right. So projecting. Um, projecting is it takes a bit. It's not difficult, but it takes a bit to get the hang of. So say say I create a sketch, okay, and then let's just create a random one here. Okay, so I finished that sketch. Hey, Bearded Printer, how are you? Hey, Peekaboo, welcome. Glad to have you guys. What we're doing is we're working on this, right? So I've posted about this a few times. This is a project that I've been working on for a while, too long, actually. I figured if I streamed the design of it, it would force me to um, get it done quicker. And Polymorph has been in with me this whole time, and he has helped me um, immensely with adding things to this. So it's been a good thing. Yes, forced progression. That's a good way of putting it. So we're working on this. But one of my questions to the group was, do you guys like watching CAD design live? Right? Like I watch tutorials on YouTube, um, but I don't know if I've ever really watched live CAD design. I've watched some live, like some Tinkercad stuff, or I've seen some people do some live stuff, but I was like, oh, why not? Right? It'll help me force progression, as GTR Dad likes to say. Um, oh, good. Okay, okay. So yeah, and like I said, I'm no expert, right? Like I've been CADing for somewhere between 6 to 7 years. There's most things I can do in CAD, but I'm not an expert, and some things I probably do differently than others. And I learn new things all the time by um, watching streams or videos of tutorials of things. But Polymorph had the question of projecting, right? Like that's a big thing. I've projected a few things in here that we've been working on during stream. So he had a question that he didn't quite understand that part of it, and projecting dimensions from one part or one sketch to another is, especially when you're lining stuff up. So I think before you guys were here, what we did um, is I split this keyboard just for ease of printing, so we had a nice flat surface. This keyboard tray. So this is going to hold a Pi 500. So ease of printing, I wanted to split this because this is 285 millimeters long. So I didn't want to have to print that tall. Um, and on either end is inset. So I didn't want to print it tall and have to have the infill in here. I want this to be nice clean edges, which obviously we can print with infill and have nice clean edges, but I wanted to split it so that it was easier to print, not as tall, and had a flat surface. But then I want to have, anytime you split a print, it's nice to have some type of guide pins or alignments so that they easily go back together, and for strength. So I have this rod here is going to be a 12 millimeter carbon fiber rod, just because I have some. So this here, I'll also cut sections of for the pegs, but you could use wooden dowels, anything. And I'll probably before I release this, because quite a few people have asked me to release this so that they can build one. Before I release this, I'll probably release a bunch of different versions of it where this here can be printed on something. I'll split it into 4 so that it doesn't have to be printed on something that's 330, 350 mil, because not everybody has a printer that size. But I'll probably also I'll use like not everybody has 12 mil solid carbon rod. So I'll probably design this for like a standard like 1/4 inch wooden dowel that you can get at Lowe's or Home Depot. That way it's more universal. So we projected, when we were doing this, we projected from one side, one part to another to have those line up, right? So if we make this opaque, we now have a nice lined up dowel pins on both parts. So Polymorph was asking about that. So I was going to come over here real quick and get away from the design, the follow design, just to talk about projecting, right? So I learned this a number of years ago, probably somebody's stream or video that I watched. And I was like, oh, wow, that's so much easier. So what I'll do here is let's just, off this face, let's just do an offset plane, and let's set it up like, just for ease of use, let's set it up 100 mil, right? I'll draw another sketch on that, just random, doesn't even matter what it is, right? So finish, right? So now I have 2 sketches. These could be parts too, they could be bodies. I could extrude these to be bodies. But on the sketch, if I want to make sure, actually, let's do that. Okay, let's extrude this down a little, like say 50 mil, right? Let's extrude this up 10, right? So say I have 2 bodies and I want to create some type of connection, a dowel pin connections, alignment connections, or I'm just this is the head of a robot and this is the body or the neck, and I need to have something coming straight up through to hold the head to the body. I want to have these line up perfectly, and say I have other stuff here and I want to make sure they align well. In order to make sure that this circle is in exactly the same spot, I can project this onto this body or this sketch, right? So I already had that sketch. So let's open that sketch. Let's bring back that. I can project that by selecting that circle and clicking P. So you saw, let me just cancel that real quick. So there's obviously nothing here, right? But I have 2 sketches and I want to put this perfectly in line with this one. So it's project, right? To be honest, I don't even know where in the menu, oh, right here, project. So it's P. The easiest thing is just to select it and P, right? So if I have a sketch, I have this top sketch open. Yeah, so once you select, you just hit P, right? P for project. You can also select that, come down, and just click project. But shortcut keys in Fusion are your friend. Now, the benefit is that like rectangle, right? A two-pointed rectangle is R. Line is L. Circle is C. So learning all of these, D for dimension. Yep, exactly. So project is P. So they try to keep it relatively same. There are some odd ones that think, but so again, two different sketches. Select what I want to project. Like I could project all of this, right? So like I could say, okay, I want this whole sketch projected up, right? So I've selected geometry, right? So I have technically 4 lines and a circle. So that's why you see the 5 here. I have 5, I have geometry, 5 points selected, and I want to project that up. So I'm doing a projected link, and now I have those dimensions, that sketch on this one. So now if I finish this sketch and bring back the bodies, if I hide that sketch, the bottom one, now I have the top, I have that sketch, and I can do what I want with it, right? I can cut. So now our holes are perfectly lined up. Again, we talked about the perspective orthograph. If I want to look at that and make sure that's perfect through, I come back to orthographic, get a top view, and it's, I'm dead centered. So, but the benefit of projecting like that whole sketch is like now I could go up here and I could say like, oh, let's cut out, 4 mil, or let's cut out 4 mil of that. Now this would fit directly onto that. Now for 3D printing, you'd obviously have to size this for depending on what the material you're printing and how accurate your printer is. So for shrinkage or expansion of something, you'd want to make sure you size that correctly. But does that kind of answer your projecting? Yeah, project. I mean, it's probably the best. It's probably the greatest. I mean, for me, I mean, obviously filleting and chamfering for clean, and extruding and all that stuff. But um, when you first learn CAD and you're doing different bodies and different sketches and extruding stuff to make a body, learning to project is like opens up a lot of doors. And this is just very simple stuff, but um, if you do learn it, it does make your life significantly better. Yeah, and constraints are another thing. Like you know, when you're designing like circles and you're doing a shape and you need like the tangent lines and there's so much there's so many things you can do with all of these constraints, holding something perpendicular, holding something parallel, depending on, how you're going to size it or do, um, it gets way more complicated, but um, yeah, it's just CAD's fun, just, and like I said, I'm not an expert. I don't know everything. I learn something new every day. But I've heard there's actually been a few threads on like X and Blue Sky and a few others about does a 3D printer need to learn CAD? And I'm one that says no, right? Like you don't need to learn CAD. If you're a 3D printer and you are just 3D printing other people's models and you're perfectly fine with that, that is okay. Not everybody needs to learn CAD. Can anyone learn CAD? Absolutely. You don't have to. CAD isn't difficult. It just takes time. Um, it takes dedicated time. So it's just like anything else, right? When you're a kid, dedicated time to learn to read something so foreign. And CAD is like that. It takes a lot. So I learned in Fusion. I have since probably about 4 years ago. My primary is still Fusion. I CAD and Fusion for basically everything, but I will switch. I do CAD in Onshape, SolidWorks, um, Onshape, SolidWorks, Shaper 3D, um, Tinkercad still. I CAD in all of them. FreeCAD, CAD and FreeCAD. I do not recommend starting your CAD experience in FreeCAD. Um, it's a tough one to learn. Simple things like extruding a sketch in Fusion, Onshape, or SolidWorks. In FreeCAD, it's called padding. So you pad something. Um, it's just simple stuff like that. Terminology that is just different in FreeCAD. Um, and I've heard people say like, oh, if you learn FreeCAD first, you can learn the rest of them, and that's not true at all. Um, Anyone you pick to learn in, you're gonna learn that, you're gonna get really good in that, and there's gonna be a learning curve if you go to switch to anything else. That's why I try, like, on a monthly basis, I try to design something in all of them, just so that I keep up with them, because especially something like FreeCAD, they're always coming out with like features and updates and changes. And I do use like Shaper 3D. I use on my iPad. I really like that. That's a really good on the go. Like I'm out and about and I have my iPad with me and I think of something and I want to CAD it. Um, Another good one for especially if you're new to CADing um, is called and I can't even think of it at the moment. It's called plasticity. That's it. So plasticity is really cool because they call it CAD for artists. So it has kind of a um, not quite a Nomad sculpt. I also sculpt in Nomad, but it's kind of like a sculpting slash CAD had a baby. And Plasticity is really good. I do like that one too. That's not a bad one to learn. It's also inexpensive. So Fusion is free if for personal use, if you want to. It is expensive if you use it for commercial purposes. I believe it's like $84 a month. Um, yeah, I mean, then that's the thing. Like I'm an iPad user, but if I didn't have one, I would have bought one for Nomad. So Nomad Sculpt is like the best. Um, it's like I use ZBrush too, but ZBrush is like for me, it's like um, Fusion to Tinkercad. Like ZBrush is harder to use or harder to learn, I think, than Nomad. Nomad, like you can pick it up and just figure it out. The guy that I watch, Steve Layer by Layer, my co-host for Unspooled, um, we both watch. His name is Drug Free Dave. He does Nomad tutorials on YouTube, and his tutorials are amazing. If you have never used Nomad and you just pick up an iPad and buy Nomad, I think Bearded Printer Nomad still $15 or $20 one time purchase. It blows my mind how cheap it was. I forgot how much it was. That's how inexpensive it is. Anyways, it's really cheap. So, but anybody can pick up an iPad and Nomad and like you're gonna be okay. You'll figure it out. But Drug Free Dave is a really good tutorial. Just to watch him late at night. He makes me fall asleep. So it's if I'm trying to learn anything, I got to watch it during the day because his the way that he does his videos, I'll fall asleep. Oh, okay. So if you have like I did hear about somebody using it on like a Galaxy Tab, like a Samsung Galaxy Tab. So if any of you have those, Bearded Printer says that the Android version has a free trial use. So that's really cool because then you can kind of use it and figure it out. But yeah, there's a lot of anything with CAD. There's so many. I think well, Autodesk owns it now, the owners of Tinkercad, but I still think you can use SketchUp, which was like the
the web-based. I think Google originally owned it. On Autodesk bought it. I still think that's available and free to use, but oh, okay, so he did change it to just Dave Reed. Yeah, okay, yeah. I always knew him as Drug Free Dave, which I always never understood how a sculpting tutorial YouTube channel was named Drug Free Dave. But hey, he probably had another YouTube channel. But so yeah, it's just CAD is fun. Anybody who wants to, and I think you don't have to learn CAD as a 3D printer, but if you want to, you can. And if you do, you probably will find it useful. Um, but even start out with Tinkercad. And there's a lot of Chuck Hellebuck. He is big with Tinkercad, loves Tinkercad, and does some really cool stuff in it. Usually with Tinkercad, it does for the most part take a little bit longer to do what you can do in like Fusion if you become familiar with it. Um, but he does some really cool stuff in that, and they do have a lot of they have like new features where you can do like motion and you can do the coolest thing with it is you can do like prototyping for like PCBs on like breadboards and like actually test them without physically having to make it, which is kind of cool. I've played with it a little bit, but I think he's done some tutorial videos on it. But so. Oh, is it? Yeah, I haven't played with it enough, but at some point I like I said, I get back into Tinkercad every once in a while, just in case they've come out with some like new thing. But usually it's like designing something like this camera mount or something simple. But yeah, and this is another example of a cool reason to learn CADing. Is that earlier today I had found in on printables and printed out the amount similar to this for my P1S to mount a camera on the front of the door. Um, but I wanted one for my Infomec. I have an Infomec TX. So jumped in Fusion and kind of went off that design um, and designed this. So it sits over the top hinge of the Infomec door um, and kind of sits like that. And then I can mount my webcam here and it sits right up against the glass. So it can look through with the door shut and you don't get any glare because the camera sits so close to the glass. But yeah, it's just helpful, right? Like if I couldn't have done this, I would have had to rely on hopefully trying to find this. I basically would have relied on someone else wanting to do this exact same thing on the exact same printer. And where the Infomec TX is kind of a rare printer, there aren't a lot of them out there. Um, yeah, it's probably never going to happen. So my only option was to design it myself. So I did. But what are some of the things that you guys have designed, or what are the things that you typically design? I like a lot of stuff like this, or obviously bracketries. I do a lot of I print a lot of like polycarbonate and the technical filament stuff on bracketry design. But this type of stuff is fun. But and I do like sculpting too, like in Nomad. I don't do as much of it as it is. I've posted some stuff on Maker World, um, and like usually it's like if I get a request for something, like if you look on my Maker World, I have a um, so if anybody likes Miyazaki, spirit like the Miyazaki movies, one of my wife and I's favorite movies of his is Spirited Away. Um, so she she likes No Face, obviously from Spirit Away. A lot of people do the No Face cosplays and stuff. So I designed her in Nomad a no face like pen and pencil holder for a desk, stuff like that. I've done. They do other things, but usually it's only at request. So Lego stuff and some smaller toy stuff for the kids. Yeah, like I, so GTR Dad, have you successfully modeled and printed Legos that like actually snap together? That is a really tough thing to do, to get the tolerances right so that once you print them, they snap together nice, is not easy. I've done a few of them, and it takes, yeah, like I've done it, and it's like design it, print it, change it, print it. Even in the slicer, trying to like size up and down, and then printing and printing and printing, and finally, after you print like 70 little Lego blocks, you finally get them to snap together. But then you change what filament you print it with, and now they don't snap together. It's crazy. Yeah, like and I remember somebody saying, I remember watching a stream. It was a live stream, I think, and somebody was talking about that printing Legos, um, and that the tolerances of how, I mean, obviously Legos are molded. I think they're ABS, right? But the tolerances that Legos are molded in, so the engineers at Lego that like design, they're the tolerances are incredibly tight and accurate. Like I don't even know to like what like thousands of a millimeter. I don't know, but I've heard that they're incredibly accurate and tight. So to be able to replicate that in FDM is tough, especially if you've designed the blocks. So if you have got them to snap together, bravo, because it's not easy. Hey, Retro Maker, good to have you. In case any of you guys were in the Free Heathens stream earlier, Retro Maker was there, and he was showing some pictures of Retro Makers doing some work outside, and he's got a pretty cool like brick oven, and I think he's redoing, and he said he'd post a picture when he gets it done and starts a fire in it. But it's gonna look awesome. I can't wait to see it. But yeah, so Retro Maker, we've just been working on this. So this is, I don't know if you guys are familiar with my printer that I did that I brought to 3D Printopia last year. It's kind of what this came from. I had always wanted to do this terminal from the game, but I really started doing this because of my Fallout themed Cheaty X Max 3. So this is going to go with it. So this coming year at 3D Printopia, I'll be bringing that printer back, and this will sit next to it, kind of hooked up to the printer, and it will. I'll be able to go in. This will have a 10-inch screen in it. I'll be able to go into Clipper and control the printer right from it. So obviously on a hotspot at 3D Printopia, but it will be the terminal control panel for the printer. Be kind of fun. Completely pointless, but fun. So actually, Polymorph, I think he said he was going to get some food. He's been pretty instrumental in tonight's stream. So one of the things that I had done early in stream is I had added these hard stops here. So these brackets obviously mount to a wall, right? And then screw this base where the screen is, screw to these brackets. This this tray for the keyboard mounts to those brackets. It'll be a 12 millimeter carbon rod that goes through here. So when we started stream, this didn't exist and none of this existed. So originally I was going to, yeah, Retro Maker, you should definitely come to 3D Printopia. It's an awesome time. It's so much fun. So originally none of these stops here existed. And my original thought is I was going to drill, I was going to have a hole here and here, and then also in the brackets here for heat press inserts, and then screws like a set screw that goes into the rods, into the rod. The issue of that is I was thinking that the downward pressure that I'd be putting on that keyboard might just obliterate the plastic that those set screws go through, and that go in, like I would drill holes in the rod. And I still may put set screws just for added, but I was like, I want a hard stop, right? Like this keyboard is never going to go down, and it's not going to go up. Like I was originally going to make it so this folds up, but I'm not going to do that. It's just going to down. So I wanted some hard stops so that when I'm typing on this keyboard, but I was concerned that I would have to bring, I didn't want to have to bring these out more, just to make them look gaudy, but I was concerned that this one here and one on the other side, on the outsides of these brackets, wasn't going to be enough. So Polymorph in this stream, another reason why I'm super glad that I did this, why I streamed this, he came up, he was like, oh, well, put a finger on the back side of the keyboard tray that goes up against, right? So this rod will slide through, but these fingers part of the tray. So even if you push down on that, this finger, which these will be this will be glued together with 3D glue and pins, dowel pins, but this will press up against the bezel, right? So it'll press up against that bezel, which screws to this main body. So this is 40 mil across, plus these brackets that are going to be on either side, these hard stops. That should hold it. I'm not concerned about it anymore. But he came up with this. That was his idea, and I was like, that's brilliant. So we modeled those. I just kind of rounded over the end. I didn't want a sharp point there, but that should work. The other thing we did is this here. This here is like a side thing that just has knobs, and the knobs aren't going to function. They may function at a later date. I may make one of these knobs actually dim the brightness of the screen, which would be really fun. But for now, I was just going to glue this on, but I've printed this base, and it's big. It's almost 330 by 330, or it's 285 millimeters across. So it doesn't quite fit on a 300 millimeter bed. So I had to print it on my GTX Max 3, which is 330, in order for it to fit. So I didn't want to have to print another one of these because it took a while to print. So I don't want to glue this on. So what we did is instead, I put some holes through the side panel here, and then some holes here that I can heat press some inserts into. That way this can be screw mounted. And the reason why I wanted it screw mounted is that I'm not ever going to really take this off, but if I ever want to take it off, to put an edited version of this that holds electronics for that knob so that it can dim and brighten the screen, I can do it, and I don't have to like pry the glued piece off or reprint the whole base. So that's kind of why I did that. So the other thing we're going to do, or so the other thing I have to do is I want this to be level. So just by nature of the way that this is designed, it kind of angles down, and I want it to be level with right. So I want it to kind of set like that, so that it doesn't tip down. Plus, I need to design a case that this fits in. I was just going to set it down and then have kind of a little lip here that kind of, I don't know if I glued it or whatever I would do, that covers the plugs that come into here. So there's going to be plugs that go from a power 5 volt and then a mini HDMI that comes from the Pi 400 through here. There's going to be a conduit piece that goes to the screen. So I showed earlier on screen, this is the screen that's going to fit in there. So it's a 10-inch 10-inch touch screen. So it only needs 5 volt and HDMI. So I want to have something up here that's going to block those cables. So I'm going to, I decided with Polymorph's help, I'm going to design a base that that the Pi 400 sets in, that has that integrated right into it, that I can then lock down to this tray with like a keyway lock, or just have it heat press inserts here that it screws into, and then the Pi 400 drops into it. We'll see. Or I could just put some tabs up this end just to like have a couple screws that hold it down. But so that's kind of the next thing that we're gonna do. What I'm gonna do with that, I don't really need this in there, but let's just move it aside. All right. Going to, yeah, let's hide the bottom. I don't need the bottom. Don't even need the keys. Okay, so if we do, you just simply do a sketch right on the bottom, right? And then let's just do an offset. And let's offset the inside, like, let's just do 1 mil, so I have plenty of room. Hey, Kyle, how do you, yeah. Hey, how you doing? Thanks for joining. So, what we're doing right now is we're working on the Fallout terminal. But what we're doing right now is we're doing a case for the Pi 400, so that it kind of can hold the case level and then hide the cables. So if I do an offset, if I do 1 mil around, that should be enough to set that down in. And then what I will do again is we're going to do another offset from, oh, actually, I have to confirm that. Okay, so let's do another, oh, I can't. Oh, it's not constrained. So, okay, let's come in here. I'm going to, let's extrude that out a little bit just to get a body going. Let's do 30. I don't know how high that's going to be, or going to need to be. So let's hide that body actually and bring the tray back. I got to measure that. So if we go from the bottom foot here to the face, not what I wanted to do. There to the face. That's going to give me some weird. Let's try. Ooh. Should probably reset the point on this so it's not. There we go. Yeah, so we're roughly 30. We're roughly 35. So if I make that tray 35 mil deep, that should be okay, because let's edit that, because I can always put a spacer in the bottom to like even the key up, or even this up. So okay, I'm gonna hide I'm gonna hide that. All right, so we've got the basic shape of that. So the Pi 400 is going to kind of set down in, but what I want to do is I'm going to edit. Oh, I got way too many sketches in this thing. I'm going to edit that sketch. So I want to have where was I? Exit. All right, let's do. Actually, let's finish that one. What we'll do is create a sketch off the front of that face so that I can come out here. So we were 1 mil, buffer 1 mil. So I'm gonna do 4. I want it to have a pretty beefy shell. We're gonna go down 35. Oh, I hate that look. I'm gonna go back to perspective on that. All right, so we have that shell. So now it's a pretty beefy shell, but it's probably too much actually, but we're gonna do. All right, so yeah, and we're way deeper than we need to be. Way deeper than I need to be. Okay. Because that's gonna stick up. Okay. So let's take that. Let's take a little bit of that off. So let's go negative 12. Let's do 14. Well, no, actually. Let's do negative 12 because I don't want it to be too much. Plus, it's going to set down in a couple mil from that. Okay. All right. Close this up a little bit. Sorry, I kind of got in a little bit of a rabbit hole here. How's everybody doing? I'm just gonna put like a 2 mil shell on the bottom, just to close that up, because I am gonna use the bottom of that. I could technically leave that open because it's just gonna sit on this, but I do want to have a mechanism here to attach it. So whether I do holes here with heat press inserts here to where I screw it down, and then actually Polymorph had a good idea of putting a keyway, right? So like a male keyway here with a female key here that it kind of snaps down into, so you can just take it on and off. So we might do that. Thanks, Retro. I appreciate it. So I really like to design stuff. So that's my thing. So what I'm gonna do real quick is let's just to keep everything housing. We'll just call it the keyboard housing. Let's move this over. So I think I do have one issue with this. And yeah, that's going to be a problem. I'm going to have to redesign that a little bit, because the keyboard, I don't want it to stick over. So I'm going to align this. Okay, so the align tool is another one that is like super handy. Oh, good. I like designer streams too. I mean, usually I'm watching tutorials. They're not usually live, but I would like to watch more like live CAD streams. Like that just seems like that's wicked interesting to me. So I would love to see that. But so the align tool is another one, kind of like projecting, that is like, it's really helpful. So especially when you start having, like right now, I these will all be turned into components at some point, but right now they're just all a bunch of bodies. But when you start having like really complicated assemblies, um, having using like the align tool to move these components around, and lining them up is really handy. So like for instance, like I have this body here, right? So let me actually, let's just move this up a little bit, right? So it's not in that body. So say I want to align this edge with this edge, right? So I can come in, align, select that edge, right? So I want to move, the first from is wants to be the body that you want to actually move. Because if I were to select this face first, the keyboard tray would move to the keyboard housing, which I don't want. So I want the first one to be the part that I need to move. So I select this face and I come down. Ooh, let me go in here. Align, align, face. And why aren't you letting me select the face? Oh, it came up defaulted on component because the last time I aligned a part, it was a component. So if you ever get like, so actually that's a good thing. So right now I'm like, oh, I want to align this face to this face, but why won't it let me select, right? Because this is a body. These are both bodies, not components yet. So I need to switch this to bodies. Okay. So now I select, and that moved it into position. So now those are perfectly aligned. And I can do the same thing with this, right? So I want this to be flat on the tray. I can come in here, select the bottom face and the top face of the tray, and it's just going to drop it right on. So that is let me get this grid out of the way. That is a much better way of aligning stuff. So did I clearly I missed something. So um what's this designer jeans? Is there a story there that I must have missed something in like another stream? Oh, you're not seeing the context menus? Oh wait, okay, let me see that again. Oh no, why is it doing that? Yeah, I'm moving it around right now. Why is it not showing that? Well, I'll have to figure that out. I don't know why it's not showing the. So you're not seeing like the align window, but that's a good point. Yeah, um, yeah, I'd have to show the whole desktop, which is okay. Maybe next, I'll look at that next time, because it would be easier to do it that way. That way you guys can see. Yeah, that's kind of annoying that OBS doesn't do that. Um, Actually, I'm not even in. I don't even know why. I'm not even in OBS right now. I'm in StreamYard. So apparently StreamYard doesn't either. That's kind of annoying. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. That way you guys can see. Um, this whole time I'm like, oh yeah, hit thing and click this. So for the next time I stream, yeah. So StreamYard is it's a little different than Streamlabs. Streamlabs is like its own OBS. StreamYard is kind of it's like Emacs for Apple only. It's web based, so it's like yeah, it's just a web based. It's like Restream. Restream's another one. It's a web-based streaming software, and I like it. It works good. It's really good if you're like bringing like guests in because you can just send an invite link and they'll come in. I do prefer OBS, but and I was actually going to stream this with OBS, but OBS was giving me some issues, so I got to check that out. But next stream, I'll do an OBS and I'll make sure I'm sharing the whole desktop versus just the app because I didn't even notice that you guys couldn't see those. But so okay, my issue with what I've done right now is that I have like a pretty thick I have a pretty thick shell here, right? Like 5 mil, which is probably way too much. But because this here is sized the width for the Pi 400, that now if I'm going to put it in a housing, that's going to be wider. That housing is going to be wider than the tray, which I'm not keen on. I don't really like that. So my options would be to keep the housing. I could expand the width of the keyboard tray. So I could expand the width of the keyboard tray, right? Because I still have my keyboard tray isn't quite as wide as the whole body or the bezel. Yeah, polymorph. The Cheaty is I've had all of the X series Cheaties. So I've had um, the X Smart, which is the smallest one. I've had the X Plus, which is like the middle one. I think that one was 280 by 280. And then now I have the X Max 3, which is the 330 cubed. So it's 330 by 330 by 330. I did almost pick up the Plus 4. So the benefit of the Plus 4 over the X Max 3 is that the Plus 4 does the auto Z offset. The X Max 3, it does use an inductive probe for leveling, and it's almost fully automatic, but you do have to set the Z offset, which nowadays kind of stinks. Back then, no big deal. And I don't really mind it. I mean, I set the Z offset pretty quick, but I would have brought a Plus 4 because that does auto Z offset, more automatic, but it's actually smaller. So the Plus 4 being 300, I think, it's smaller than the X Max 3. Now I did, even with that 300 size, I'm okay with that. Or if it was if it was at least like 325, 320, I might get it. Because it does have hotter. I print a lot of technical filaments, high heat temp, and the Plus 4 does get hotter. So the X Max 3's hot end maxes out at 350, whereas the Plus 4 is 370. Not a huge difference, but if you're printing if you're printing a lot of more technical stuff, that 20 degrees can make a big difference, especially with like layer adhesion. So I would like to get one eventually. But I think the beds are still the same. I know the X Max 3 goes to 120, and I think the Plus 4 is still 120. So they're both 65 degrees on the chamber heater. So they both have chamber heaters. So I just stuck with the X Max 3. If they ever come out with the Plus 4, the Q1, the Cheaty Q1 is pretty nice too. That one is quite a bit smaller than the X3, or than the X Max 3. But that one does auto Z offset and everything too. But that's kind of been forgotten since they came out with the Plus 4. Now, if they ever come out with like a Plus 4 Max, where they're like 350, I'd love to see that, and I would definitely get one of those. But I like I said, I've had 3 different, and I had a few of the old, excuse me, I had 3 of the old, or a few of the old Cheaties, like I can't even remember what the model numbers were. They were weird. And I've always been happy with them. Um, they're good printers. The X-Max 3 is a beast. So I print nylon on that all day long, and it loves it. So and it has it just has like a volcano style nozzle in it. So I used the hardened CHT um, nozzles in it, and they're great. Yeah, so I make a lot of stuff. I just do a lot of bracketry for like mechanical environments. So like one of the things I do is I print this bracket for like a hull door on a piece of equipment that goes on a boat. So stuff like that. Uh, just things that have to be rigid and strong and withstand. Some things need to withstand like salt water. Some things need to withstand chemical. Some need to withstand, you know, direct sunlight, UV, high temps. So um, I like the I like th- I like printing multicolor for fun stuff. Like if you look at my maker space, or not my maker, my maker world, like I've got Santa Clauses on there and the Steve Harvey Mr. Potato Head that I've done. Like I sculpt a lot of um, cute fun stuff. Like I did a Demon Slayer lamp that was really fun for my niece. So I do a lot of fun designs too. But my wheelhouse and like my real passion is in like technical designs. That's what I really like to do. Uh, but I will do it all if I have to, or if I want to, or if somebody asks. A lot of times people will ask, and I do commissions. Um, I do probably more design commissions now than even printing. I mean, I still print every day pretty much, but um, I do a lot of like commission design work than anything else. But all right, so back to this. I don't like it. I don't like what I've done. Um, so I think, oh, let's go back to the front. Polymorph, I think I'm going to have to do your idea of embedding the keyboard right into the tray. I think that's what I'm going to have to do because, well, or I could widen the tray. In-ground keyboard, yeah. So my options are to embed the keyboard into this tray. If I do that though, um, the keyboard will be lower. I will have to edit this tray because this will have to come down. Because if I embed it, the top of the keyboard is basically going to be here. So I would have to bring this down a little just to keep the aesthetic similar to what the reference images look like. But yeah, and it's not even about the holding it. Like I can fix it, but what like right now, the width of this tray is exactly the width of the Pi 400, which is this width. So with this tray, I'm going to be beyond this, but I could just simply, okay, what's the width? Okay, the overall width of this uh, helps if I, so the overall width of that is 296. The overall width of this should be smaller than two. Oh, stop. Sometimes I hate the measuring tools in Fusion. The measuring tools in SolidWorks are so much better. Okay, yeah, so that's 285. So we're 296. So we're what, 11 mil difference? So if I could expand this. Okay, hide this keyboard. So I could I could just bring these out. So if I do, if I bring these out 5.5. All right, I'm just gonna do it. I can always undo it later if I don't like it. So if I bring these out, 5.5 mil, 11 mil total. So if I do that, okay, so now I should be, again, if my maths were correct, 296. Okay, so now if I bring back that keyboard tray, bring back that key. Just use Velcro. Yeah, I'll just stick it on. To be honest, if I get all of this done and printed, and all the electronics added, or actually, that's not the hard part. Printing it's the easy part, and the electronics is the easy part. It's the paint finishing that I'm not too keen on, but I'll do it. But if I get all that done, um, in in order for 3D Printopia in September, I may not. This may actually have Velcro holding that keyboard tray down. So that's not a, yeah. Yeah, I will be. So I've been using this stuff. There was a cosplayer that told me about it. And it's basically this like latex paint. And it's called, oh God, I can't think of it. But it's this thick latex paint, and you can just add water to it to thin it out. But you just paint that on the model. It's sandable and paintable once it dries. But you paint that on the model, and it basically hide all the, and it's a lot thicker than like a fillable primer, and all of the layer lines are instantly gone. It's amazing. Liquitex. It's called Liquitex. Um, and it's great stuff. And it's really good for painting on top of PETG, which is, this will all be printed out of PETG, because where PETG is a little bit flexible, that Liquitex it's, even though it's sandable and paintable, it does stay flexible. I use actually, yeah, I've used the filler primer, and I've done like multiple coats of that. And I still do use the filler primer over the latex, but I only have to do one coat, because I do one coat of the Liquitex, and I do one coat of the filler primer, and the layer lines are gone. It's great stuff. It is kind of pricey though. I think you get it at Hobby Lobby. But okay, so let's line this up again. Let's line this up. Align bodies this time, not components. All right, and I will have to extend the rod here because now it's not through. Okay, I want to see from the front though. I want to see if it does that. Okay, I think that looks okay, right? That doesn't look too wide. Kind of actually looks better. Does that look okay, guys? The width of that? I actually kind of think it looks better. Huh. Okay. I'm okay with that. Yeah, so I have done the UV resin before. I have painted a model. I did the oh, what was it? The bust. It was Marco something. He did the one of the busts from one of the androids from Star Wars. I can't even remember the name of it now. Um, the pilot from Mandalorian. Anyways, I did that bust, and I did, on the head of that, I did paint it with UV resin, and it does work. And it like, if you do multiple thin coats, it doesn't get all like weird that you have to do a lot of sanding with it. Um, but yeah, it does. Yeah, the I wish I had. I don't even know where it is. The Pi 400 is somewhere around here. If you guys saw the rest of my office and my shop, it's like, it's a mess. It's somewhere around here. But yeah, Pi 400 is surprisingly, I mean, it's 285 millimeters wide. So yeah. Okay. So again, we're doing, let me make sure I can always, I did make that thicker. So yeah, 286. So basically on the Pi 400, um, we're going to have half a mil on either side for that to sit in, which is okay. What I'll probably do too is have like a part on the top here that kind of covers the gap. Um, we'll see, but all right, I'm okay with that now. And I do want to, oh, you know what I could do? I could cut this out of the tray a little bit so that that kind of like sits down in it a little. Because I'm not high. I guess that's okay. All right, let's do a little aligning here because I do want to bring that down more. You know what? And that actually kind of looks, that kind of looks a little bit more. Let me bring up that reference image. It kind of looks more like that, doesn't it? Hey, that's not bad. I kind of like that. It looks more like the reference image because you have that gap in between the tray, like the keyboard sits. So that's going to look good. Huh. Yeah. So yeah, we'll definitely, and usually I don't have to select all these, but um, we'll do it anyways because sometimes it gives weird. So we'll do that. Let's champ. So we're 5. Let's do 3. Too much. Is that too much? 3 mil? Or should I go 2? 3 or 2 on the edge there. So 2, 3. Oh, for that. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Oh, so not. Oh, you don't think I should do the top at all? I guess I gotta wait to see the thing, but um, do you mean on this side? So like that? Is how's that look? Kind of looks a little cleaner, doesn't it? Was 2 enough, or do you think I should go more? Could go 3. No, I like that. Looks good. Could change it to 3, but let's change it to 3 and see what it looks like. 3. I could probably go 4 without cutting into the, yeah, that's too much. Let's do 2. That's too much. Going too far. Yeah, and I'd probably print that with a, if I was flat, I'd probably print that with a little bit of a brim anyways, just to, especially with PETG. Because like I said, this will all be PETG. All right, so let's bring back that keyboard. I do have that as a group. Okay. So let's. Can I think I can align that. No, it is grouped together. Ah, I can't. I gotta grab. Stop. Too many misclicks. Align. I can't. Oh, you know what I can do? I can just, yeah, that's fine. I can go because they're all. It's gonna give me trouble aligning that. Let's go. Let's do -420. Just to kind of get it. Ah, what did we do? What did I do? -425. I just want to get it like in the a little bit. No. Oh, know what I can do? No. Why can't I align that? I can, but it's going to give me. Ooh. Align that. Oh, I forgot I got to do a line first. Selected with that face. No. Oh, too many misclicks. Let's align that face with that face. And then I don't really care about the bottom, to be honest. Ah, what happened? Love undos and redos. What is going on with this thing? Shooting all over the place here. Yeah, enhance. All right, let's just manually move it because this is giving me all kinds of trouble. It's too late. It's too late. What time is it? Oh, it's only 8:30. Never mind. Too late. It's only 8:30. Ah. Oh, we'll do. Good enough for now. I'll line it up later. I gotta turn all this stuff into components. All right. So how are we looking? That actually looks better, I think. It looks more like the reference image, right? Because this looks like a keyboard set on the tray, which is what I wanted. I wanted like a little housing for that Pi 400, but I think it just I think it makes it makes it look more similar to it, right? How's that looking? I think that's looking good. I got these mugs. Look at these. My own mugs. They're cool. Oh, so my new slogan thing is print, create, repeat. I thought it was cool. Print, create, repeat. Because that's kind of all I'm having tea. I'm a coffee drinker in the morning, but I'm now old, so I can't drink coffee after like 3 p.m. So I drink tea in the evenings. Oops. This one is green tea with lemon, I think. It's not bad. It's kind of iced tea now, though. I made it like 2 hours ago. All right. So, oh, we never did bring back sketches. So we never finished this. So, oh, there's gray. Oh, there's definitely gray there. There is a lot of gray. Oh no, I am 43. I am way older than 30, man. I haven't seen 30 in a long time. No, I wish I was. No, actually, no, I don't wish I was 30. I'm pretty happy with my age, but all right. So we are. Let me hide this bezel because I got to remember how thick this. So we're what? 4 mil. Okay. No, I don't want to relive my 30s. No, I'm good where I'm at. Okay, so what I'm going to do with this, I am going to capture position. I am going to cut this out a little bit, like 1.5 mil. 1.5, just a little bit. Okay. That's too much. That's too much. We're going to do 1 mil. 1 mil. Okay. Let's see. Okay. 1 mil, that looks better. I'm getting bombarded on Discord at the moment. I had to shut my Discord. I'm getting like I all of a sudden. Hey, have a good night, Retro Maker. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it. And yeah, we'll see you Tuesday. That would be great. So yeah, I'm getting bombarded on Discord. What is like 8:43 on a Saturday, and I just got messaged by like 14 people on Discord all at the same time. My headset's going nuts. What is going on? Like something is there like something happening that I'm not aware of? All right, so I'm gonna bring that out a little. You know what? I don't want to do this. Oh, I don't want to do that. I want to make that something that I don't want it to print in the base. Should I have it printed in the base, or should I have this as a separate part that I then like glue on? I'm gonna do one here and one on the other side. So should I do, for example, this, right? So if we create an offset plane of just 0.1 mil just to have something off, and we do, again, we're gonna do that project. So I project onto that. Okay. Now I hide the main body. I'm wondering if we should do like this, right? Okay. So if I extrude this 2 mil and I extrude that 3 mil, no, that's going to be a little bit further, like maybe 3.5. So and then we kind of radius these and then bring back the body. Like, is that okay? And the reason being is I'm being lazy and I don't want to have to reprint this. Like, is that okay? How's that look? Polymorph. Oh my God. Discord. I have too many monitors too. Holy crud. Who keeps messaging me? Oh, okay. I don't know. I have to like mute people. Okay. There we go. One. Yeah. I can't. I work IT and I haven't been able to do anything less than 3 monitors in like 10 years. And I have 4. Here I have 4, and if I had the space, I'd have like 6. And I probably have the space for like if I put one over there and one over there, I could probably do 6. But yeah, it's just I find it is really bad for ergonomics though. Like ergonomic because you're like I'm constantly like this all the time. I probably look like a maniac on stream. And to watch this back, I'm probably like looking up. So, oh, let's see. Holy moly, we've been live for 2 hours and 45 minutes. That's nuts. This has flown by. I think we've done a lot of progress though. So, guys, does that look okay? Okay, so let's look at the reference image. Reference image. So it does. I can't. Does that look inset or on the surface? I kind of want to just leave it on the surface, but I kind of because I'm being lazy, and I kind of want to do like a little bit of a. I kind of want to do something in the center here, like that. Just kind of like just to give it a little bit more detail. Like that, and then like chamfer it, maybe like that, just to give it a little more detail. Now keep in mind, this will be like roughed up, like it's been through the um, like a nuclear fallout, right? So some crazy nuclear explosion in 50 years into the future. So it's going to be all dirtied up and filthy and made to look old. So all this will be all grimed up. But yeah, I'm okay with that. I think that's how I'm going to leave it. Kind of like a buttons, or not a button, but like a something that like a bolt. Yeah, so this here will be non-functioning. I mean, technically, like if I thought that if so this here is on the other side. So I don't there's another one of these on this side on another reference image I saw from the game. So I don't believe this is a button. If I thought that it was a button, I might make this like a power button to power the whole thing on. But I don't think it is. I think it's like a bolt that holds like the bezel on, um, or something. Because why would there be two? Like if it was a button, you get the two knobs. But if it was, I guess there could be two buttons. But so for this purpose, it's just aesthetic, like just to look the part. So I think I'll just leave it like that. All right, let's hide those sketches again because it drives me nuts. Okay, so there, bezel. Yeah, I like that. Let's see. Well, I don't need to copy that really for just for looks, but yeah, that would go right on that side. So it's like right here. Be another one. Okay. Geez, I think that looks pretty good. So you guys don't think I shouldn't bevel that, right? I should leave that because this is going to be flat right across. Um, and then I'll probably have like a, it's kind of right now it's tilted, but so this will be flat right across, and then I'll probably have like a 1 mil, like something that is sets on the top of this, and I'll probably have like small. This is 5 mil, so I'll probably have just like a few, two on each side, like a 3 mil countersunk screw that screws like a little bezel over the top just to get rid of that gap so that you like really can't tell that it's a keyboard set in a box. Yeah, so yeah, just something to like hide that. Um, but yeah, I can do like a just like a 1 mil thick bezel that covers that gap, and then have just like a couple countersunk screws here, or not even countersunk. They could just be like button heads to make it look like industrial looking, or that way, because the bezel here is going to be held like with, it's going to be counter or socket head cap screws here, so you can see the heads. It'll be, and then you will see some screws here too that are holding the screen to the bezel. Yeah, yeah. I wanted it to be like, I want it to be flat like this. Now, obviously, you're gonna see a little bit of a lip just because um, I don't want to. I guess I could. I guess I could print something that sets over the whole thing and even in between the keys to even it all. Like then you would really, it would really integrate it. I might have to do that too. I don't want to, just because that's going to be That's going to be a lot of testing, but we'll see. Because again, this is going to be all like the keyboard, the Pi 400 will all come apart, and I'll like color it and weather it, and so all of this will all be painted similar, so it'll all kind of look integrated. I think. I think. Let's see here. All right. Yeah, I think that looks good. What now? Oh yeah, Adam Savage is like. Have you ever read his book? Everything's a Hammer, or is that what it is? It's really good. Yeah, he's like one of my idols. Every Tool's a Hammer, I think is the title of it. Yeah, it's really good. He's like, yeah, my son and I. That's like, he's one of our idols. I'm not big on like famous people. Like I see, um, like I live in Maine, so John Travolta is like here all the time, and like I see famous people, and I'm not big on that. Like it doesn't, like when I see him, it's just another person. But the one person that I would probably like fanboy on might be Adam Savage. Like he's the one person that I have always wanted to meet, because um, he refers to himself as a generalist, and that's kind of how I always have been, because I've done a lot of different stuff, and I probably that's my ADHD, is I always have to, like, if I think of it, I have to do it. Um, but he's and when that guy when it comes to like organized chaos, like I've never seen anybody that can maximize space like that person can, like that guy can. He is like, he gets every ounce of square footage in that cave of his is utilized for something, and in like a really good way. But yeah, big fan of Adam Savage. So, oh, I'm moving everything around. You guys can't even see it because I got okay. I mean, I think that's pretty good. I mean, I've got the screen bezel all set, right? So that was the other thing that I wanted to make sure. Okay, well, let's leave that. So this here, this is the screen bezel, which I've already got that printed. This was a test one that I did. So it doesn't have like the holes for mounting it, but it works. Fits the screen well. Um, it fits the screen well, and then this cutout, and it's positioned exactly so you can see just the screen, not like any of the black bezel around it. So that's good. The brackets are now good. Got the fingers for the tray. The tray will be nice and strong. We've got this tray. So I think on, let me bring back that body. I think on the next stream, so I will stream on this again, probably next. So we've got the unspooled stream on Tuesday. I appreciate it, Polly. I mean, you've got instrument. I'm gonna if you go, do you go to 3D Printopia? I don't know which area of the country you're in, but if you go to 3D Printopia, I'm gonna have you sign this, uh, because that finger thing. Oh, you're in the Murph area, so you're gonna see. I won't be at Murph, unfortunately, but my co-host of the Unspooled podcast, Steve, Layer by Layer, he will be there. So you'll have to say hi to him and meet him. He's a good guy. Oh, you met him last year? Yeah. Yeah, he's a really good guy. But yeah, I'd like to. Yeah, he did you get the maker chip? Did he have the maker chips there that was a maker chip that flipped up into a phone stand? Oh, he had the okay. Yeah, he had the state. Okay. I remember that, the state shaped one. Yeah, I think he had the one that like transformed into a phone stand. I think he only had those at 3D Printopia. That's right. Yeah, it was really cool. It was like It was the maker chip, but there was like this little tab that flipped out of it, and it was a phone stand. It was really cool. It was one of the more creative ones I saw there. And then I think K2 Kevin had one that was somebody did the buttons like it was you press the middle of it and it had LEDs. Yeah. Oh, was Shenanigans at 3D Printopia? I must have missed him. I would have I'd like to meet him in person. I Oh, was it? Yeah, I if he was there, I'm bummed that I missed him. I might not have even been aware of who he was at the time. I don't know. I just recently, I think a few months back, I came across his stream. Um, I was in somebody else's stream and they raided into him, and I was like, oh, this guy's cool, and he does a lot of neat stuff. So I'd like to meet him in person. Yeah, yeah. Uh, all the rep festivals are really good place to meet everybody. So I went to 3D. Oh, I couldn't make it to Murph. Yeah, I went to 3D Printopia in 2018, and then last year was the first other year that I went back. But I will be there again this year, so it will be an annual thing now. And then I won't be able to make Murph this year, but maybe next year I'll be able to. There, the next year I either want to go to Murph or Rocky Mountain. But oh yeah, new jobs. Yeah, yeah, that's always interesting. Trying to build up a PTO after you start a new job. It's always fun. Well, hopefully at some point we get to meet in person. If I ever get to Murph or and you ever get to 3D Printopia, that would be fun. So I think we're pretty good for tonight, guys. I think I'm gonna call it. We're almost 3 hours in. Because I want to save. I want to finish this, and I think that's it. Like after I do that, I think I can print this and build it. But next stream, I want to do finish this the keyboard holder with the cover because obviously I got to cut this out because all of the um, the two plugs for the HDMI and the power need to come in, and I got to have some type of retention that kind of matches this for the conduit for the cable cover. So I think we'll do that on next stream, which I'll probably do. I don't know, maybe if I don't know if Saturday nights works good for everybody, or if Friday night works better. Either kind of works for me. I picked today just because I was kind of busy last night, but I think we'll go shoot for next. Yeah, I think I'll shoot for next Saturday. Saturday seems good, right? Um, a lot of times with people, Saturdays are better. So, but I appreciate everybody coming. This was great, a lot of fun. My first CAD stream, and it went well. I mean, we got quite a bit done, and like I said I wouldn't have been able to get this far without you guys. Thanks, Bearded Printer. Thanks for coming, Polymorph. You guys are all great. I really appreciate the company, and I hope I was entertaining or helped you guys with something. If you ever have anything, oh, no problem, man. I saw you chatting, and that's good. Where are you? What you working on? Anything fun or? Well, I hope so, fun, but that you can share. Sometimes I know people are like myself are working on CAD projects that they can't share yet, but um, floppy beard. Yeah, I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see. I like all your. I've seen a lot of your stuff, so I love seeing what people design. But all right, guys. Again, I appreciate it. I hope you guys have a good rest of your evening, and I might see you on something else later if we're on another stream. I don't know if anybody else is streaming tonight, but if so, I'll talk with you then. I'll probably be in some Discord, maybe some Polymaker Discord if there's some people over there. But I'll talk with you guys later, and hopefully I'll see you Tuesday at the Unspooled podcast. me and Steve layer by layer. And if not, hopefully I see you next Saturday for another CAD stream. All right. Have a good night, guys. Bye.